Welcome back to 3-Star War Strategy. Your host, Name of the Lord, here with our next war recap. And this was epic. Absolutely epic. Get out of the war from Buckeye City. We do a little bit of a wait. Make sure we don't got somebody sitting to peg us after watching us on Twitch. And we hit Game of Thrones, a very, very solid clan. 207 wins, FPC. They were phenomenal. That's all I'm gonna say. There's no better way to describe it. What they did to our Town Hall 9s was epic. They had, I don't think they had any Town Hall 10 attacks go down except for hitting a couple of our 9.5 bases. So on our side of things, absolutely opposite. Go ahead and roll this out for you to enjoy while I speak. 11 to 11 in Town Hall 10s. We both had 11 Town Hall 10s, but we have four 9.5s. They're not max 9.5s, but I think they all have troop space and spells, which helps when it comes to attacks. And we had 5 Town Hall 10s go down, plus I think all but one of our 9.5 attacks on 9s. So they just kept 3-starring our 9s one after another, and we were behind the entire war. Part of it was, I think, was just the drag of getting over the loss and matching another clan and having to get bases remade, and just it was a very taxing couple days, without a doubt. 3 days. Had problems getting our 9s to attack right away, me included. I ended up with a migraine, long story short. Barely got my second attack in, which happened to be a big one. Regardless, the war, Game of Thrones, their bases were amazing. Best I'd seen, probably comparable to One Hive, not even second to One Hive. I thought their bases were really good. I thought their attackers, we had them with Town Hall 10s because of our 9.5s, but they had we had one or two Town Hall 8s. They had none, and they definitely had us in the hero ranks. They had a lot of good-sized Town Hall 9 heroes. That said, great job to everybody at Game of Thrones. Very impressed with the clan over there. Probably the funnest war I have ever been a part of, hands down. Great job to everybody at FYSB. You will see why. We will get into some more of the details as we get going. But absolutely epic war with an epic finish that I will talk about here in a little bit. All right, let's roll out a few of these attacks. Not going to show all of them. Do want to give Game of Thrones some respect here. This is crazy. Sin, La Lune Specialist. I don't even know what he's thinking. Queen is clear over here. He's got a stone Goho. I'm guessing he's just assuming he's going to get 3 of the air defenses. Sweeper, X-Bow, Clan Castle troops. Does he really think he's going to get the Queen? I do not know. He's got 30 heroes, so he is going for it. Only one jump, so she's got to come over into this compartment here at minimum. And there he is, and she is not jumping over. Well, I take that back. She does jump over after all the troops have gone down. There she goes, a little punk. but he's rolling it out. I mean, you got to go forward with the attack, and still has 5 loons down here. That's going to help, but he's just pushing through. He's got he only had 1 air defense up, so he's got more than enough tanks to get through this. And that queen eventually went down, I believe, to the queen. Queen took out the queen. So really, something you don't see very often, a law loon base, a law loon where he stoned it and basically skipped taking out the queen and started the attack. Ended up working out, obviously, but wow is all I'm going to say. And that's the type of stuff that we had to do to hit some of their bases. They did a very good job with their double giants and good pathing, and they typically had 2 sets of double giants, which I'm now convinced is still more difficult than a double and 2 singles. That's just, after this war, I'm convinced. I had to show this replay. Good night. This was our first Town Hall 9 3-star, so it was fairly early in the war. I think I had actually mentioned it while doing the Buckeye City, but this is a first attack, which we didn't have a lot of first attack 3-stars. I didn't go through to see how many, but I just love the way he adjusted on the fly. He's going to drop in his hogs over here with a giant, and 2 Teslas pop on the outside unexpectedly, obviously. And he just does a phenomenal job of staying patient with it. 2 jumps. Also, he's only got 2 heels, and he's got a lot of the base to go at this point. I'm sure he does not want to drop this first heel when he does, but just watch the adjustments made. And look at those 2 Teslas pop. He doesn't want to drop that heel. He realizes that he really has to, especially with that king there, level 20 king. But is really patient with this base, just allows his kill squad to keep doing work, takes his time with his deployment on his hogs, is patient with his heels, doesn't rush anything, even though it's probably already not going as he planned. And, obviously, good job getting these things in. Probably should have a little bit earlier. But with the Teslas kind of throwing him off, he was really focusing on his hogs. All these high HP unit storage units out there, and did a great job. Look at all the hogs he still has up. Triggered this double giant before they got there. Overall, good night. This was one of, it's not fancy. It was one of my favorite attacks in the war. So great job by Good Night. Had to show this one. Love it. All right, let's move down to number 20. Yo Mega. Let's see here. He's got the 4 healers, so he's going to do a walk. Yo Mega's, he's been doing walks consistently since I got here, so he's put some time into it, understands it a little bit better than I do, that's for sure. Did a good job of taking this out with the minion. Obviously, this one wasn't going to go down by the time the queen's walking because it just takes too long to take down. But those camps go down a lot quicker. Got that air defense down before losing any healers. That's always crucial. Then out comes the CC, drops that poison, which just doesn't do a lot unless they're sitting in it for the duration. But that's what the benefit of the healers. is at this point, the healers and or, a rage. And then drops in three, I believe, witches. I'm going to go with three. I forgot to double check. And a nice jump going to get him into these two compartments, maybe into this one. I don't think so. Because there's, no real need. I guess it'd be nice if they got up into here just because of that expo. But the healers, they pay off so many different ways with the walk. I mean, they're up still healing troops. That's always good. The skellies are huge here as they trigger. What few hogs he brought could have used a heal right there, and before he could deploy it, fat fingered it out in right field. It happens, but really had 10 more hogs, dropped the heal on him. Really didn't need the heal. It was a one heal job and got it done. Maybe he was swagging early. I don't know. Beautiful job. Still has witches up. If you can keep those witches up away from mortars, the duration with that queen up the whole war, that whole attack, that was just a wonderful attack there. Let's move down to number 27. 27, Mr. Banner. Mr. Banner is too cool for me. This is a lure that takes out an air defense and then just drops the spell. They're gone. What's left is some archers, I believe, that he missed. And obviously nobody is afraid of a few max archers on your wizards and your tanking golems with your kill squad, your queen, no matter how tiny she is. This is a level 16 on a good base. This is the new horseshoe look. Anti-walk. The deeper the horseshoe, the better. I think you're going to start seeing more of that in base builds. Comes in shattered style to get these two air defenses at this point. I don't know how he still has 15 loons. He's, he used a bunch of hogs. He used 2 golems. Now he's got 1 hound and 1 in the CC. Obviously the hound, 1 popped. Good, he's going to need those pups. It's probably not going to get this second one to pop. There's not another air defense, and this X-bow, for whatever reason, is down. Pick the perfect strat for this base. Heal there, okay, whatever. I think his plan was to use that heal for these hogs over here, and it just wasn't needed. So saved it and used it. So beautiful attack, beautiful, he sat down, he looked at the base, he drew up a plan, he took his time, and then put the plan to action and did a great job, just a great job scouting this base. So good stuff, Mr. Banner. Good stuff, Mr. Banner. All right, that was 27. I'm not going to show it, but all right, I'll show one. Both of these attacks, Slim, Troll Boy, beautiful surgical hogs, both of them, just gorgeous surgical hogs. I'll show one. Gonna talk about the end of the war a little bit. I jumped on with an hour and a half left. I had worked all day. I had an attack. I had no time to prep. They saved me the last base, number 35. And then, of course, a Town Hall 10 was going to have to clean it up if I failed. At that point, there was there at that point, I believe there was 3 Town Hall 9s that needed cleaned. I had an attack left, and there was one other Town Hall 9 attacker left, but he had been MIA as well, couldn't get to his phone. You know, it happens sometimes. Work, you know. I'm 33. I got a job. I got kids I got to feed, you know. I was able to put together an attack. Jamaica got his attack in. It did not succeed. A 10 cleaned up those Town Hall 9s. We were up 1 star, but it was, and we had been down by double-digit stars for every time I checked up until this point. So basically, when I was at work for a few hours, everybody made a push, and we cleaned up the 9s. At this point, we had 3-starred that Town Hall 10 that I showed you, that first attack. And so we were up 1 star, and it kept going back and forth from there. We'd clean a 9, they'd clean a 9, we'd clean a 9, they'd clean a 9. And up to the last 30 minutes, it was tied. And they had 2 attacks by Ryan. And Ryan was obviously saving them. He's their Town Hall 10 guy. He drops in with a La Loon because he's got 2 attacks to go. So he's got to get that first one in. And he 3-stars a Town Hall 10, epic style, very nice attack. Clean or not, it was really nice. And then, so we were down 1. And we must have been tied at that point. And we had several, I want to say 5 Town Hall 10 attacks to use on 3-star attempts at this point. And we just started rolling them out. And that was 3. Sorry, cut it short. That was a great attack, by the way. I'm going to roll it out. I saved this attack for last because this came in the final 15 minutes. Epic 3-star by Fab. Puts us up by 1. Ryan has a chance to tie it with another 3-star. Basically, our last 2 attacks, we should just go for percentage points because if he fails, we win. If he succeeds and gets a 3-star, it's going to come to a tie. And we were already up in percentage points, so just nip in a few more percentage points. In case you didn't know this, percentage points comes down to only starred attacks. So if you use a scout and he gets 4%, and then that scout base gets 3-starred, that 4% does not count towards the average. Only the final attacks shown on the board count towards the percentages. Okay, so that was the idea. Ryan failed. We ended up winning the war, and it was literally all in the last 5 minutes it going down. And to be honest, we had just had that red line from the war before, and we were not sure what was about to happen. And it was just an epic finish and a great job by everybody at FYSB to cap it off. I will say if we went head-to-head with them, straight up, all even, 9s and 10s, tie, or I give them benefit of the doubt. I mean, they had us that war. They caught us a little bit with our pants down coming off of that war, but it would be a much closer, it probably ended in a tie, I'd say. I mean, just a really good clan. This attack's beautiful. Walks them around, gets the Inferno, gets the air defense, drops the King only to tank here, because he does not, unless he had a wall breaker fail. Misses with that. I'm driving and watching this because it's the final 10 minutes of the war, and I'm yelling out the window at him for missing that freeze. I cannot believe he missed that freeze. That attack was absolutely perfect up until that point. But you're going to see just barely gets the job done. That tank still up was the only reason it worked. And that pop right there was perfect timing. That allowed for cleanup troops This was absolutely gorgeous, Fab. I love you, man. That was just an epic finish to an epic war. Cred to Game of Thrones. Had a blast. Had a blast. Revo came over after the war. Good stuff. Love the clan Game of Thrones. Good stuff. Good stuff by everybody on both sides. Proud to say I was a part of that war. So keep watching. Hopefully we can schedule some more wars like that. Any questions about it, hit me up. Until next time, you know the drill. Keep killing it. God bless.